This is Stalingrad, once a thriving city on the banks of the Volga. It would soon become the deadliest battlefield in human history. By the end of it, over 2 million men, women, and children would be dead, frozen, buried, or forgotten beneath the rubble. But how did it begin? What led to this nightmare of fire, ice, and blood? To understand, we need to go back to the winter of 1942. Stalingrad, a city carved into stone and blood, soon to become the graveyard of the Nazi dream. Hitler wanted it. Stalin needed to keep it. What followed was not a battle. It was a siege, a death trap, a hell frozen over. But why? Why was this city so important? Because to Hitler, taking Stalingrad meant breaking Stalin's spirit. And to Stalin, defending it meant proving to the world that the Soviet Union would not fall. Not now. Not ever. So the stage was set. Two monsters of history, colliding over one burning city. Soldiers without food. Civilians without hope. Death without meaning. They were starving, freezing, forgotten. Just like this story might be, if it doesn't get seen. Help us keep it alive. Because stories like this deserve to be remembered. Before Stalingrad, there was Barbarossa. In 1941, Germany unleashed the largest invasion in history against the Soviet Union. Cities crumbled, millions were captured, entire Soviet divisions vanished. It looked like a swift victory for Hitler, until the Russian winter came. The Nazis weren't prepared. Their tanks froze. Their soldiers starved. Their momentum cracked. But they learned from that. And in 1942, Hitler launched Operation Blue, a push toward the oil-rich Caucasus, and standing in his way, Stalingrad. Stalingrad was more than a city. It was a symbol. The Nazis reached it by August. The Luftwaffe rained fire from the skies, reducing the city to rubble. To Hitler, this was the beginning of the end for the Soviets. But rubble favors the defenders. Soviet soldiers clung to every street, every building, every basement. They fought in silence. They fought in screams. They fought with knives, bricks, even bare hands. The Germans called it Rattenkrieg, the Rat War, a city fight so close, so brutal, that death could be waiting behind every corner. Every day in Stalingrad was hell. Machine gun nests screamed across broken factories. Flames danced through hospitals. Bodies froze in the snow, untouched for weeks. And yet, the Soviets held. General Zhukov had a plan, a trap. While Hitler obsessed over taking the city, Zhukov prepared Operation Uranus, a massive Soviet counteroffensive targeting the weaker Romanian and Hungarian forces guarding the German flanks. And on November 19, 1942, the trap was sprung. Like a steel jaw, the Red Army clamped around the Germans. Within days, 300,000 Axis troops were surrounded. Field Marshal Paulus, leader of the German Sixth Army, was trapped. Supplies couldn't reach them. Ammunition ran dry. The temperature dropped to minus 30 degrees Celsius. Still, Hitler demanded no retreat. His ego wouldn't let go, not of the city, not of the propaganda. The siege dragged on into early 1943. Soldiers were eating horse meat, burning books for warmth, sleeping next to frozen corpses. By January 31st, Paulus, once loyal, once defiant, surrendered. 2 days later, the final German resistance in Stalingrad collapsed. Over 750,000 casualties, the largest defeat Hitler had ever suffered. Stalingrad broke the myth of Nazi invincibility. It emboldened the Allies, it inspired the world, and most of all, it turned the tide of World War II. From this point on, Hitler was on the defensive, and the Soviets, they were no longer just survivors, they were victors. The Battle of Stalingrad wasn't just a turning point, it was a warning. That war doesn't care for pride, That strategy must triumph over obsession, and that even the mightiest can fall when ego replaces reason. So when you hear the name Stalingrad, remember, it wasn't just a city. It was a tomb, a symbol, a lesson carved in ice, blood, and iron.